Hello everyone, my name is Charis.
And my name is Gracia.
And our project focuses on comparing the effectiveness of potatoes, carrots, and wheat straw on absorbing manganese and dye.
So water contamination is a current environmental issue. Water is essential to all living organisms. However, contaminated water can be fatal to marine life and if it is consumed. So imagine a world without Nemo or Dory. It would be such a tragedy, right? Contaminated water contains heavy metals such as manganese and synthetic dyes.
And as a result, a lot of people in the world lack safe drinking water, which is why our project focuses on not only natural ways, but also ineffective ways to absorb these contaminants.
You may be wondering where all of these heavy metals come from and how they get into our water systems, right? So, most of our heavy metals come from industries that dump all of their waste into, say, our water. Okay? Yeah, so you can see on the diagram, it can also come from the runoff of pesticides and fertilizers.
The same thing for textile dyes. They come from many industries, and when the industries don't need them anymore, they just dump it into the water like you see over there. It doesn't look too pretty, does it?
Yeah, no.
We normally find manganese in water, and if we have too much of manganese in our bodies, it will lead to damage in brain development. So for example, let's say you'll forget things more easier, and not only that, but you'll also have a lot of behavioral changes as well.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, don't let these beautiful colors trick you, okay? They're not, yeah, the effects are not pretty at all. Synthetic dyes are commonly used by textile industries. When they are no longer needed, they are thrown into nearby waterways. Synthetic dyes contain mercury, lead, chromium, and copper.
We actually use potatoes and carrots because they both have vitamin C in them. And vitamin C is known to be an ascorbic acid. And ascorbic acids, they bind very well with heavy metals, which is why we use them. So not only do they absorb the heavy metal, but it also contains the heavy metal.
Yep. Lastly, we used wheat straw since it also contains vitamin C. It was previously tested for the absorption of blue dye, which it successfully absorbed it.
For our hypothesis, we thought that if we use wet carrots, then they would be the best absorption for the heavy metal and the dye.
Yes, we also hypothesized that as the mass increases of each of our variables, then the amount of manganese and dye in the water would decrease. To conduct this experiment, we prepared our solutions with manganese ions and dye. Then we chopped each of our variables into small pieces, and then we split them into different masses.
So we also had 6 flasks, each for a different mass. And we let them sit for around 48 hours, and after we filtrated them, leaving only the solution behind. Afterwards, we tested the solution with a chemetrics kit, as you've seen on the bottom left. We basically tested to see how much manganese was left after we put the variables inside them. So for our results, we found out that rather than having the carrots to be the best absorbent, we found out wheat straw was the best absorbent. And we also found out that the correlation between the mass and the absorption was very high, which means that as the mass increases, then so will the absorption rate.
We also compared our variables, our wet and our dry variables, and we also figured out that our dry variables had a better absorption rate.
So we also found that for each variable, there is only a maximum to which it could absorb. So for example, let's say the potatoes, they can't absorb any more than 92.5%. No matter how much you try to increase the mass, that's all it could absorb.
Yep. In the future, we would like to further study wheat straw and observe the effects of different pH levels and temperature of water on its ability to absorb these harmful chemicals. Moreover, we would also like to work with different heavy metals, such as iron, copper, and chromium.
And on that note, let's work together to save our planet.
Thank you.